Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. Those romance movies are going to get your future killed. Wow. You know, I'm seeing through the ruse of this gender war because we are just so... You know, the rattlesnake or the cobra, how the snake charmer will just lure him into, you know, a much more calm and placid state. Well, that's the same thing with us, where through just so many devices, we have been lulled into participating in our own annihilation. So many ways that no one share is going to address them all. That's why I keep coming back. But these romance movies, I remember I was watching a movie and I never even contemplated them. I knew that they were bad stuff, but what was it? It was that really like borderline pornographic, and then it ended with Caucasoid insanity at the end, Don Juan. It was a very good movie. But at the end I picked up, I was like, okay, this is white people. And that's the thing. Getting relationship advice from these folks, let alone, you know, like strategy, a game plan, and that's all it winds up being, is a game, from these folks is insane. Because there are, like my son, he lets me know there's like an epic war going on between, you know, white racists and feminists right now, or basically you say between traditional white men and those traditionally whiny white women who want to be free to whine as much as they would have always otherwise. Might be the reason why their men just sort of like, okay, let's just treat them like furniture, all right, and that's the best thing to do, son, if you want to survive. So, you know, but nobody is going on about that, and we don't go around trying to, you know, instigate friction between the two of them. They just do it all by themselves. I mean, come on now. If you really are all the be-all and end-all, why are you having all of these epic back and forths, even just with your own? And they're quite mean to each other. That is something I know that we don't fully take into account, is just how cruel and dismissive white people can be towards other white people. So that's why they just love being able to deflect all that rage they have onto us, because we don't come with military and with all kinds of financial backup so that, you know, we can protect ourselves. Like, for instance, I don't want to get off the beaten track too much, but when it came to Baron Trump, I did a video about how, and I wasn't being mean. Who could be mean to a child who might actually suffer from a disability of some sort? And I won't say which one or whatever, because Melania Trump got her attorney and sued the guy who I had his share embedded into my share, and sued the guy, and he took it down, gave an apology stating that no, Baron Trump is perfectly fine, and I still stand with my original position. I just won't say what that was. But when it came to, you know, Sasha and Malia, they were attacked ad infinitum. And it never, I don't know, did it ever occur that was it Michelle could sue people for defamation of character when it comes to those two young girls? It was insane. So we don't fully use all of our weaponry against these people, but they surely use it against us. And so effectively that we are like, you know, That's how we respond to the world around us, so that we also, it's like, it shouldn't be some sort of like revealing comment from a housewife in Newark that the whole world is filled with coons and Negroes, and they don't look anything like us. They could be brown and all sorts of hues, but their ways that they act in life is strikingly exactly the very thing that, because we live right up the butt of Satan, he gets to, fart out on us the worst reputation in the world, and then we believe it and we start behaving in kind. Because trust and believe, the brothers out there would not be attacking each other if we realize that when they report these statistics of murder in Chicago, then more than likely it is not black people who are doing this, or it's cops who are forcing conflicts between rival gang members, gangs that started out as folks who actually wanted to be of benefit to the black community, but they would juxtapose one against the other so that, you don't know what the heck is happening. That's like they do it on here, where there's like grown black men who should be adults arguing back and forth, using every expletive in the book, rather than showing an example to our family by just, saying, hey, that sounds like a very good idea. I don't think that would work for me, and here's the reason why. And then the other one could say, oh, okay, I understand. That's all right. We got to keep building for our family. Why don't we try that? That's something new, isn't it? So that's kind of they're not coming out here. That is the dilemma that these romance movies create, because they present this insanely perfect scenario based on the very limited understanding of what love is, according to the Caucasoids. Now, we also, historically, we didn't use the word love. What the heck? What love? I know, and it's a beautiful thing. I am in love with my king. But it's such a small, tiny word compared to what a real relationship is actually like. And so these romance movies, though, they put it up there like it's just every single second you're in a relationship, especially as women, because we are so underheard in this society, that anything that looks like it's going to put us on a pedestal and we're going to be in charge, and everything is going to feed our sense that, we want to be queens of the world, we are more prone into our minds. And then you have the black man, who has been guided through, it's called epigenetics. That's where all the stuff, all the emotions of the mother go into the womb and not only, suffuse through the bloodstream of her infant inside, it also does that to her eggs. Every woman is born with the same set of eggs. So we have a lot of black men who come out the womb. They don't have to stay that way, but they come out the womb ready to, what the heck is going on here? And so they don't automatically, they're more prone to then fall into the lies of this society and feel like they want to fight against the constrictions upon masculinity. That often results in an effect where a lot of black men have very narrowed, and all men all around the world, because these white people, they've sold this cock and bull story, excuse me, to the entire planet, so that lots of men are feeling very, very constricted in the proof of their masculinity. So you have our brothers who already, because it's in the nature of a man to resist confinement of any sort, even if he doesn't know fully that he's being confined. Coons, and the black ones, and the female black ones too. But for the men, women, we are much more accommodating. We'll try to work with you. That's why white men are scared of us. But the black brothers, they know sooner or later they're going to sit back and say, I don't think so. And they're not going to say it like I just said it. But anyway, so you've got this black man, and you're hoping that he will follow the paint by numbers instructions given by these romance movies. You don't see too many men running to see romance movies, now do you? And yeah, he's going to follow that schematic. He'll do all the stuff that's recommended, like it's, you know, one of us, get her flowers, get her candy, take her out to a fancy restaurant, just because he knows that's how he's going to get in your underwear. But then, and he may just fall in love with you. He may think all of these different hurdles that a man is told he's supposed to jump through are what he honestly wants to do. They're very lovely sentiments, but they don't typify the grand complexity of a full relationship. And that's the problem. We walk and we have this mindset that love, that emotion is not an action. And the action, sometimes performing it, you don't feel the love. You don't feel that. You just feel like, okay, I'm tired. I washed a million dishes and now, you know, I haven't paid too much attention to my mate, but I should, because, you know, they're, and hopefully, you know, and I appreciate this thing about us valuing the love aspect of a relationship more, because hopefully you've chosen well, and you haven't just chosen because, you know, in Akibalon the mother and the father, primarily the father, would choose the mate for the children. And then you could run the risk, and I think that's kind of a reason why we were very vulnerable. You run the risk of where, if it's a male-dominated society, that the women are with these men that are just like, oh God, no. And that's bad, because then, you know, like with our son, that boy has never heard me say a bad word about his father. And so he has no divided loyalties whatsoever in that score, because it's like, and he says so himself. He's like, this is, you know, when I ask him, do you feel like you had a bad childhood? He's like, no, not at all. He complains sometimes about us because, yeah, we're his parents and we still have to tell him what to do. But at the same time, he feels settled. He feels like the tree is very deeply rooted. And that's just so wonderful, because this is complicated. It's not a simple, you know, 1, 2, 3, and here's my artwork. I painted it just the way all the numbers indicated I should. And so that's one of the reasons why marriages are at such an epic level of divorce, and not just with us, but with white people too. And the women are really so clueless, and we've also, as women, been guided now to narrow down the functions of a man, so that it's just about what he provides us financially, what, you know, career he has, that then we feel like we can get some sort of, you know, compliment from. Oh, he's the regional executive advisor to the donkey over there. You know, it makes it hard for real people who are trying to find real solutions to their lives, and that's all of us, to navigate through all of this and have something that resembles satisfaction. So yeah, I would definitely highly advise that, we're going to watch because I'll watch them every now and then, but mostly not. Oh my God, they're so insipid nowadays to watch the romance movies. But when I was a young lady, that kiss, it was just like, they're going to kiss. But now, oh my goodness, they do everything. And I'm like, I'm so tired. When you have a real sex life, you don't need to see more puerile information from the Caucasoids about what sex is supposed to be. It's just like, what? That's why they have to keep ratcheting up the ways that they get their, perverse lack of satisfaction with life overall. They have to keep upping the ante because they do one thing that's like super freaky deaky and they get one little buzz. Wow. Oh. And then they have to go and do the next disgusting thing in order to get a further buzz. And I know the things that they do. Not because I was involved with that. No. But at the same time, come on now. YouTube, the internet, all the secrets are being revealed, aren't they? Even the ones that make you want to throw up. So don't get romance instruction. Even that word romance is they've narrowed it down to such a small segment of what the original meaning of it was. It was more about, just the fullness of life and trying to understand, like the whole schematics of relationships. And for them, it's now, a box of chocolates and so on and so forth. And I'm thinking of a meme I saw where somebody showed a gathering of lovely sisters, and they were like, when life's a box of chocolates, if it's us, then that's a glorious thing. Whoever did that, thank you, that was really nice. But yeah, sisters, I know that we walk into a relationship and we're thinking that it's supposed to be, just absolutely, completely satisfying to our souls in every single which way, and we never satisfied our souls on our own to begin with. We never learned, well, what do I like to do all on my own, and I don't need an audience to, clap and approve and say, oh, wow, that's just great. Can I watch you for the next forever doing just that? That bores me to tears, but you seem to like it. That's not what a real relationship is. There's that phrase, man cave, because a lot of men have more of that solitary satisfaction possible within them. They don't pine over romance movies because they don't pine over relationships until, they meet someone of a significant other. And that's one of those conflicts, because a sister will give up the goodies and expect this man to just be overwhelmed by his sexual urges, that he will somehow be able to piece your goodie apart from a goodie he's never tried before. No. Don't let me forget to mention that there's, first off, black love in entertainment doesn't exist anymore. It's not even proposed. But even when I was a little girl, and you would every now and then, like Claudine, oh, how I love Claudine. But they'll depict us in a way that just says that we don't experience real love, when that's not possible. Physiologically, it's just not possible for them to come from us and then to be more expressive emotively than we are, when they are very, narrow in their range of expressions, is very, what do you call that, being uptight, anal retentive. It's not possible. So when we get together, we are black to black. We are the perfect mates for each other, and especially if we've done so thoughtfully, it is such, and when one is in, your own natural, sane mind, it is such a complementary connection as you would get if you're hooking up the most powerful electrical device that ever existed. That just, love doesn't cover it. But when you see these movies, you also have when you see these movies, it's mostly white people, white women, and thereby you're getting they have a narrow range of what masculinity is. They have a narrow range of what femininity is. But when you look at the historical documentation, you find out that white women have always been very, very manipulative in the way that they get their men to adhere to them, and for good reasons. But when we then look at that as the model of what gets you that, attention, and we are the most undervalued women on the planet, even though we're the mother of everybody, we then it's like your emotions are actually slow to get to the desires of your soul. Your soul moves so quickly in its conclusions that's why it takes many lifetimes for the Most High to instruct our souls on how to be spiritually grounded. So your soul will have already concluded that in order to have love, real love, it can only come from Dustin Hoffman. And there are no black men who would say they can relate to being Dustin Hoffman. And so that's why we have a lot of swirlers now. We have male swirlers and female swirlers, and more black males than black females, even though altogether the vast majority of black us want to stay with black us. But we have, even within that, we have so many disappointments when we're trying to hook up, is because we're not only going by somebody else's really bad advice, we're thinking in order to practice that advice, we would be better off if we were agreeable to white people. And white people, they're not even agreeable to themselves. When men are actually ready to be in a relationship because they can recognize the benefits to them, then they'll look for that sister that they feel that soul-to-soul connection with. But before that, if he is not ready, he is not ready. I don't care who you are. And so, yeah, don't give that up to them. Just, over years of getting to know a brother as a friend, that's the best and the safest way to tell. But that's no guarantee. And that's another thing with the romance movies, is they give you a concept that everybody is going to hook up, and Lord, how much I wish that were the case. But even before these Caucasoids came a-stomping in Alkebalan, there were those who some tragedy befell them and they didn't find a mate. I know it's a horrible thing to contemplate, and I hope each and every one of us can, because I know more of us could hook up if we weren't living in the midst of hell than we do right now. They got more of our brothers locked up than 10 years before the end of slavery, and how many of them have they convinced that they're homosexual? That's just not possible. So some of us are not going to make that connection, and that's why we have to champion the beauty and the majesty of black love, but all encompassing encompassing black love, not just, and not liar black love, not trying to come here and tell you a bunch of stuff that is just going to make you feel good and not have you employing the actions necessary so you can be ready for a mate when that mate does arrive. Such as, like these romance movies just give you, as I said, the idea that a man is just going to kowtow and bow down to every single whim, which throws out the natural balance of man and woman. A man is a natural protector, and they want to do that for their woman. That's like, what? I mean, how much would it cost to hire somebody to make sure that you are safe all the time and to be there? Men like, okay, it's a baby and it's really cute and could you take it now, please? But to have a man be in our homes and want to be a father because the love is in his heart, that's incredible. The Most High has structured it so that he volunteers. So live so that when you meet him, he will know he has found a true garden and not just a basket and there's some, guy playing a flute so that he can, go, because as soon as you stop playing that stupid Caucasoid flute of, yeah, see, I've got all my parts showing and I've got, I'm trying to act like I'm, just the sweetest thing so that by the time I really get angry with the fact that you're not doing every single thing that I want you to, I let you know in so many unpretty, ungarden-like terms how extra upset I am with you, when if I didn't like you really and didn't know you enough to know that 5 years later you would drive me crazy, then I should have never gotten involved with you in the first place. So it's a, it's a lot. It's a much more complicated than these romance movies will ever let us know, because that's white people's culture. Let them have it. And all the best to them. Good luck. But they were crazy when we first met them, and they've stayed crazy even today, and we're crazy if we keep going to them and thinking that that's what life is supposed to be about. No, that's what getting bit by a cobra that you thought was just a snake charmer, that's what that is all about. All right, peace and blessings, family. I love you. Thank you for watching my share, and I hope it was helpful in whatever way that I can be. I humbly am ending this blog by requesting you go and purchase my novel called This Black. It is my love letter to you. Only $7.99. 10% of sales goes to Striving Together Equals Progress. It's a real program. I'll put the link in the description box to where you can go purchase the book. Also read the first chapter. And you can go and check out what Striving Together Equals Progress does. You don't have to buy my book. You can just go straight to them and donate, because it's a real, oh my goodness, trust me. If I could, I would just come on here and shout out STEP all day long, because I'm amazed. When we look around and say, oh, there's no solution, I always think about STEP. And my book was inspired by seeing black men get together and get it done. All right, family. See you next time. Peace and blessings. I love you.